So, Mihoyo decided to casually drop the most broken character in the game as of yet. Feixiao's damage is simply out of this world. Her team composition can be super free to play friendly, and she's also super simple to build and to play. I for once decided to forgo the usual speed setups you can find on YouTube and simply go for crit rate and crit damage. And yeah, she absolutely obliterated everything there is. Zero cycle, no problem at all. As such, let us take a look at Feixiao, the Merlin's Claw and Arbiter-General of the Yaoqing, and how to actually play her. Talents, relics, light cones, teams, how to do a tornado, all of that stuff. I will try to keep this simple, but I will still touch upon all the aspects there are for Feixiao. If you're only interested in specific areas, like relics for example, then you can use the timeline down below in order to jump ahead to whatever your heart desires. But before we begin, thank you guys so much for even watching my channel. Absolutely cool of you. Feel free to like as you're told by absolutely everyone, it helps, and it actually does. I also uploaded 2 videos previously showcasing Feixiao doing a zero cycle in our current Memory of Chaos, so you should probably check that one out as well if you want to see Feixiao at her maximum potential without any eidolons. And you should subscribe to the channel as well. Do it today. I cover Starville, Genshin and Zenith on Zero, and if you like the games as much as I do, then feel free to subscribe. Alright, let's get to it. Feixiao's kit has a lot of paragraphs and a lot of complicated words, but effectively it all comes down to her ultimate. Not only is it stylish as fuck, but it also deals insane single target damage. It will be responsible for most of her damage, and every single ability she has will help her ultimate out. Her ultimate itself is very similar to Acheron's ultimate. You do not build energy on Feixiao, and instead you will build stacks called Flying Aureus. However, the difference to Acheron is that you do not want to apply a lot of debuffs to your opponents, and instead you want a high frequency of attacks from your allies and Feixiao herself. The reasoning for that can be found in her talent. For every 2 attacks by her allies, Feixiao will generate 1 stack of Flying Arrows, which from now on we will just call stack, as it makes it a lot easier. When Feixiao has 6 stacks, she will be able to use her ultimate. You can save up to 12 stacks in total in order to make using her ultimate a little bit easier, but do keep in mind that it will not increase the damage of your ultimate though. 6 stacks is what you need, 12 is just for quality of life. Now when you use your ultimate, she will first of all do insane single target damage, and secondly she will reduce your opponent's toughness regardless of their weakness type. On top of that, her ultimate is divided into 2 steps, a series of 6 attacks followed by a finisher. There's a lot of text regarding the first step of her ultimate, but it all comes down to the fact that she will do 30% more damage to opponents who are weakness broken, as well as opponents who are not weakness broken. So effectively all the time. I don't know who has written the description for her ultimate, but it could be a lot easier. Simply put, when you use your ultimate you have access to 2 different attacks. One that does more damage to opponents who are weakness broken, and one that does more damage to opponents who aren't. Simply pay attention to which one you're using. And to make it even more easy, the game itself will highlight the attack you should be using. Super simple. Lastly, when it comes to her ultimate, we have 2 of her passive talents. The first one will give you a bunch of stacks whenever you start combat, and it will also help you generate more stacks when Feixiao is not able to launch her follow-up attack for various reasons. We will talk about her follow-up attack in a moment. Her second passive will effectively turn your ultimate into a follow-up attack, and all of her follow-up attack damage, or the crit damage, is increased by 36%. This will be super important later on once we talk about optimal relics and light cones. Now I used the word follow-up attack a whole lot over the past minute, and Feixiao at her very core is a follow-up attack character. Whenever a teammate launches an attack, she will follow that up by using one of her own attacks. And while there might be a limit to the number of follow-up attacks she can do, it does provide her with an extremely powerful buff. When using this attack, she will deal 60% increased damage for 2 turns. This will effectively be active all the time. And on top of that, when you use your skill, she will do a moderate amount of damage, but she will also follow that up by using another follow-up attack. Her skill is also where her last passive trace comes into play. This one will give you a huge 48% increase to your attack, after you used your skill. And due to the fact that we want to use her skill every single turn, we look at another buff that is active all the time. Lastly, before we move on to our relics and light cones, we have her technique. This one is hilarious and will probably result in a lot of meme videos on YouTube and Twitter. She will create a tornado, which you can use in order to suck up your opponents, and if you start combat, you will automatically generate 1 stack for Feixiao. And as such, if you combine all of that together, we are looking at the most powerful single target DPS character in the game. She quite literally gives the word hunt its meaning. She's super simple to play, as most of her abilities work passively and are active all the time. Her skill is used every single turn, and her ultimate whenever it is ready in order to nuke high health enemies. Simply amazing. When it comes to her relic sets, there are effectively 2 sets you can use and a bunch of 2-piece combinations. The first one is our good old Valorous set. Quote unquote good old because it is still fairly new. It will give you attack and crit rate, but most importantly it will increase the damage you do with your ultimate. Another set you can use is our Grand Duke set. This one will increase your follow-up attack damage, and as we discussed earlier, her ultimate counts as a follow-up attack. Furthermore, her ultimate is extremely good at building up the 4-piece bonus of our Grand Duke set, and lastly there's also a neat interaction where you can use your skill attack after you use your ultimate while her 4-piece bonus is still active. So most certainly a very good option, which is almost on par with the Valorous set. Besides those two, you can go for various 2-piece combinations. You can go for the sets we already mentioned, you can go for Musketeer, Eagle, or any other combination that will help you increase either your attack, crit rate, or your follow-up attack damage. When it comes to ornaments, we have a lot of sets that are fairly close to each other. The set that sits at the very top is Duran, followed by Izumo and Inertial Soto. Glamour can also be used if you have 135 speed, and if you want to, you can also go for Space Sealing Station. Do keep in mind though, Duran is the best one technically speaking. It heavily depends on your substats. Speaking of substats, you want to go for crit rate and crit damage, followed by attack percentage and flat attack. You can also go for speed if you want to, but if you have watched my Zero Cycle showcase, you have seen that speed is not needed for Feixiao. Just equip it on your boots, that is all you need. Regarding our main stats, your body should use crit rate followed by crit damage depending on your stat distribution. Your sphere should use wind damage over attack percentage, and your rope, well, attack percentage is the only viable option here. Before we move on to light cones, I want to specifically point out that your substats are super important here. A wind percentage orb is technically speaking her best in slot option, but if your substats suck, then attack percentage might be better, so pay attention to that and decide for yourself which artifact or relic in this case might be better. Regarding light cones, the best in slot option is going to be her signature light cone called I Venture Forth to Hunt. This one is simply put insane. It will give you a lot of crit rate and it will allow you to ignore a huge portion of your enemy's defense rating. If you can, try to get this one. It is really, really good. After her signature light cone, and by the way, if you sometimes hear noises in the background, that's my birds, so can't do a whole lot about that. But when it comes to her light cones, we can also go for Topa's light cone, Dr. Rachel's light cone, and Seely's light cone. For Dr. Rachel's light cone, do keep in mind that you want to have a bunch of debuffs active in order to fully utilize it. And when it comes to Seely's light cone, 137 speed is kinda recommended. When it comes to more free-to-play friendly options, we have Swordplay as a 4-star light cone and Cruising in the Stellar Sea as our 5-star option. Most of you probably have this one by now, maybe even at superimposition level 5, and if you do, it is a really good option. Swordplay itself is currently on her weapon banner. So maybe, you know, if you don't get her signature light cone, you might get Swordplay. And that is it when it comes to gearing Feixiao. As I said earlier, super simple, just go for as much crit rate and crit damage as you can, or go for a speed build, entirely up to you. Lastly, let us finish this off by talking about team composition. And instead of just giving you her best in slot teams, let me go over a bunch of different characters and what role they are going to fulfill in your team. First of all, we have our sub DPS slot. For that we can use Topaz, Mose or Hunt March. Topaz will apply a hefty debuff to your opponents, which is going to increase your follow-up attack damage. Mose will do the same, although his debuff is weaker than Topaz debuff. However, it will also be counterbalanced once you have his Eidolons, as then his Prey Mark will also give you crit damage. March is our last option here, and she's most certainly a very good free-to-play friendly unit. You simply designate Feixiao as your skill target and you are zooming. All of them are really good options, so pick whatever you have. Mose, by the way, is on her banner, so you might get him as well while you try to get Feixiao. After our sub DPS, we have our support / amplifier. The best one by far is Robin, who also currently has an active banner. We don't need to talk about that, right? If you have her, use her. But who are we going to use besides her? The best ones are going to be Bronya and Sparkle, but you can also go for a combination of Topaz, Mose and March. After all of those characters, we have our favorite scientist Ruin Mei. She might be sketchy as fuck, and if you don't pay attention she might turn you into a critter, but she's hot, so who cares? And finally, we have a bunch of foster characters. The first one that comes to mind is Pila, and as always she is broken. Literally, in my opinion, the best foster character in the game. After that, we have Asta and Hanya. All of those characters, every single one I mentioned, does work as a support character. Simply choose whoever you have built and you're good to go. Our last slot will be our sustainer. The most obvious choice here is going to be Avengewin. He will spam follow-up attacks all day long, he's broken, if you have him, use him. But what if you're like me and you do not own Avengewin? Well, you're fucked. Nah, just kidding. You can go for Fishwang, especially if you have her at Eidolon 1, or you can go for Höchwe. While her ultimate is not that useful for Feixiao herself, it will still provide you with a lot of value because your other teammates will, benefit from it. Not to mention that it also gives you a huge attack bonus. Our last two options are going to be Gallagher and Locha. Although they are weaker than the options I mentioned before, because they don't provide you with any buffs, they are still usable. Personally, I'm going to use Fishwang, but if you have Avengewin, just use him. Now usually at the very end of my videos I give my own opinion regarding a new character, but in the case of Feixiao, I feel like I have glazed her enough. So what we are going to do instead is to quickly talk about two aspects I noticed when it comes to actually using her combat, right? So no theory, actual combat. The first one is that Robin's ultimate is extremely important for Feixiao. If it is not ready, do not use your ultimate on Feixiao. Simply wait for Robin and after that you're good to go. It will quite literally double your overall damage. Secondly, attacking the opponent marked by either Mose or Topaz, assuming you have one of them in your team, is crucial as well. Let me make it as clear as possible. If I wouldn't have done that during my Avengewin Zero Cycle showcase, it wouldn't be a Zero Cycle. As simple as that. And lastly, if you're using Topaz, make sure to use your ultimate on the opponent marked by Proof of Depth. Your ultimate does count as a follow-up attack, so it will advance Nambi's action. Do keep in mind though, if Nambi is about to have its turn, or if it is literally at 0 action value, then simply wait for it to do its thing, and after that you can use your ultimate. After all, there's no negative action value. And yeah, that is kinda all there is to it. If the guide was helpful, leave a like, a comment, a sub, whatever. That sub button is for free, right? It doesn't cost you anything and you can always expect more content on my channel. Other than that, have a great day or night wherever you live and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.